So I'm gonna start. So thank you for everybody come to Studio Gallery for this talk. And I'm gonna briefly introduce what is Studio Gallery. We are a young gallery, but we don't blindly flow. We do gallery space, and then we have a project space. And this artist talk is one of our main sections. We did a lot of offline talks, discussions. For these discussions, in our project space, we focus on artistic process and documentations. And in gallery space, we're going to broaden our scope to invite more artists and people from different areas to talk about art, art's market, art scene, everything, their idea about art. So today, our guest is Alexandre Bavard. He's a French artist, and I really like his work. I think the first time I saw his work is very open. I couldn't really describe, okay, this is sculpture, or it's a painter, or a filmmaker, or a performer. I really couldn't describe, but I like this openness. So I said, why not to make him talk for us? So that's why Alexandre is here. Okay, so I give time to Alexandre. You can start.
Okay. So thank you everybody for coming. Unfortunately, I don't speak Chinese, so it's really in English. And thanks for your invitation. I'm very glad to be here today. And so, as you say, I'm a French artist. I was born in '87. And I would like to say, when I was 14, 15, art. And the first time I was interested in art, it was by the graffiti, because I'm a graffiti writer, and I was very influenced by I would like to say the hip-hop scene, and I was born in the 90s, and yeah, graffiti was the way I discovered art. So when you are living in Paris and you are making graffiti, Paris is like a very easy city to make graffiti. And it's the start of everything, and I would like just to give like a good definition about what is graffiti and tags. It's to write your name in an illegal way, in the street, in the metro, on the subway, and all of this graffiti was super influenced by the New York scene from the 70s, 80s. So yes, I was super influenced by graffiti, and one important thing that I want that you know is that I just practice graffiti in a legal way. I am in opposition of what we call right now the street art, which is actually making like mural on the wall, and it's like something very politically correct for me. Me, I am in opposition about this. For me, the graffiti and the handwriting, to write his name on the wall, is something violent, strong, in opposition with law, police, and I was making like, and I used to make right now again also this kind of graffiti. So yes, and so it was like a quick introduction about where I come from my art, about what I did and how I start to make like properly art and exhibitions. And so as I told you, coming from the graffiti, and super influenced by the 90s and all of the sci-fi movie and all of this interrogation about the future possibility of our world, about the collapse. And I think as I'm growing up with all of these cartoons or even the science fiction movie, it's something who influenced me a lot. And I think that we can start by a video I made a few months ago in Paris with a friend of mine. Actually, he have a production company who is called Dirty Hands, and he used to make a lot of graffiti and skateboarding, like something very from the street. And with this video, which I'm calling Pantin 2022, it's like, I would like to say like a fiction about my work, in the idea that the world, like post-urban, post-apocalyptic fiction. And I think it could be a good start to just put some base of my work, and maybe we can watch it, and after I will explain you more, and we can go forward.
rénovations incessantes ont laissé place au vide. Ces couloirs souterrains sont la trace d'un temps où les hommes étaient seuls. Le néant s'est superposé au malheur des Parisiens. Ces caméras de sécurité, encore alimentées par un circuit électrique interne, mettent en scène leur absence. Ces tags sont les traces de quelques hommes qui, pour marquer leur nom sur les murs, n'ont d'autre choix que de violer la loi. Des faux noms en couleur ou en noir et blanc, qui cachent des inconnus, des anonymes. Seuls les initiés, ceux qui ont les codes, peuvent déchiffrer leur réelle nature. Nous suivons ici Moza 87. Il fait partie des résistants. Ces résistants, comme on les nomme, sont ceux qui ont décidé de rester dans la zone après le 27 janvier 2019. Il est aujourd'hui le gardien des clés de cette zone abandonnée. Cette zone s'appelle le zoo. Et le zoo, c'est la ville de Bavard. Une ville de la proche banlieue parisienne qui, après avoir subi une gentrification massive, a connu le même sort que les nombreuses villes de France, la désertification. 80% de la population du Grand Paris, soit 2,2 millions d'habitants, ont pris les rues des campagnes, fuyant les grandes villes de France, menacées par une radiation invisible et stagnante. Moza 87 est un archéologue. Il veut comprendre les raisons de cet effondrement soudain. Il cherche, il creuse, il observe et il photographie. C'est avant tout un travail de mémoire qu'opère ce chercheur. Car Paris est devenu amnésique le 27 janvier 2019. D'après le chercheur, ce sont les gouvernements qui sont fautifs. Ceux qui n'ont pas voulu faire marche arrière quand le temps du changement était encore possible. On assiste ici à un assèchement de la terre. Devenue aride, elle se décompose comme un puzzle. L'absence de pluie l'a rendue stérile, alors même que l'abondance d'eau et la diversité écologique constituaient les facteurs favorables à la vie, à peine quelques années auparavant. Dans le zoo, il est important de noter qu'aucune présence animale n'a été détectée. L'homme semble être le seul survivant. Il inscrit des lettres, des chiffres partout où il passe, comme pour baliser le secteur. Le temps est gris depuis plusieurs jours maintenant. Un étrange nuage surplombe la zone. Il y a encore quelques temps, dit-il, il était agréable de se perdre et de franchir les murs des terrains vagues. Le chercheur nous indique que ce terrain vague était un lieu de rendez-vous. Les artistes de rue se réunissaient pour échanger leur vision de la peinture. Maintenant, c'est fini. Il n'y a plus personne. Ici, une plaque de boue. Les marques de fabrique sont celles des forges. Non, un vieux continent qui a déjà connu des déclins aussi. La contamination a infecté cette paire de chaussures de sport. Elle est frappée d'un symbole, même, qui parmi tant d'autres incarne le monde consumériste dans lequel il vivait. Les matières organiques ont pris possession du plastique. La nature reprend ses droits. Il y a des secteurs à éviter dans le zoo. Il nous fait comprendre que les microparticules concentrées au centre de la zone ont rendu l'air irrespirable. Le risque de mutation génétique est très important. Dans le laboratoire de Mosa 87, nous retrouvons les empreintes des plaques de la SNCF pour en garder les traces et les améliorer. On observe ici que ces moulages prennent une coloration étrange. Ils donnent l'impression d'une radiation visible. En effet, comme il l'explique, le plâtre est le seul matériau qui fixe la radiation. Ces empreintes, en format de tablette, sont donc des témoins, des vestiges qui comparent à celles des civilisations olmèques ou égyptiennes. Des civilisations qui nous précédaient et qui ont décliné à l'instar de la sienne. Tous les efforts mis en œuvre pour maintenir la stabilité de cette civilisation étaient là. Le zoo en est la preuve. Les monstres de fer ne s'arrêtent plus en garde côte. Les trains partent, mais ne reviennent jamais. Ces RER, qui autrefois emmenaient les travailleurs dans le centre de Paris, sont les derniers à évacuer des rescapés. Pour les plus riches, les TGV, et pour les plus pauvres, des trains oubliés. Il est intéressant de constater ici que même dans la misère, les classes sociales persistent. Les matières dans l'eau stagnante entrent en fermentation et créent des émanations puantes. L'eau potable est rare, la plupart du temps contaminée et irriguant la terre. Il semble que la maîtrise des approvisionnements en eau soit le prochain facteur de conflit.
So as you saw, this video is like very dystopic. All of this area is in my studio in Pantin, is the city in the north of Paris, and it's like the suburb, and you have a lot of gentrification. I mean, it's a city who changed a lot. It used to be like industrial city, and I would like to say with poor people, and now it's like changing a lot because Paris is like expanding, and so you have a lot of gentrification, and all is like moving. You have a lot of wasteland all around my studio, and all of this is very inspiring for me because I feel that in this video you feel it's like a fake documentary about dystopic vision of this zone, and you can see that I imagine that there is like radiation, like I would like to say kind of a Chernobyl effect all around my studio, and I just project my dystopian vision on this zone around my studio. And when you are like just working on all of this wasteland, you find like an object, plastic bottle. You can see some part of rocks that is like puzzle, very dry. And so when I saw that, it's like for me, it's always activate my imagination, and it's make link with all the books of science fiction book, video, also video games that I was influenced when I was younger and even right now, and I just create like a fiction all around with this object all around my studio. And also, as you can see, there is like some tags that I'm making. My name is Alexandre Bavard, but my graffiti name is Mossa, M-O-S-A. So you can see me tagging also all around in this wasteland. In this documentary, I say it's like I would like to say like a slalom. When I'm walking, it's like I put my name to remember when I was, and so actually it's like very influenced by the wasteland, like nobody, nothing. If you go like in this wasteland around my studio, you close your eyes and you open it. You don't know if you are in the past, in the present, in the future. And all of this idea of archaeology also, as you can see, is like very influenced. You find an object in the streets, like for example a photography, and you will see, oh, where is this coming from, which family it is, which people, so you start creating your something imaginative all around, and this is what's happened with the sculpture you see for also at that moment. And as you can see, the graffiti writing, the way I'm writing my name is like something I'm very focused on, and I like, firstly because it's like a pleasure, also like a calligraphy I would like to say, and it's like very influenced the way I'm writing my name. As you can see here, it's like some sketch for choreographic partition, I will explain you. It's like from my mother's side, I have Georgian roots, and all of this alphabet, it's kind of style, I would like to say, calligraphic style is very influenced by the Georgian alphabet. And I decided to speak about, this is, I would like to say, maybe the second part of the talk, and maybe another kind of work that I do, is like the performance. As I told you first, I am in opposition about the actual street art, which is, for me, it's not interesting me to put my graffiti name on the canvas and to put it on the wall for a gallery, museum. So I was asking, but what's interesting me the most in the graffiti? For me, it's the energy, it's the movement, it's I would like to say the emotion I have when I do it in the streets, and always in an illegal way. And I said that, oh, all right, so if I have to speak about this feeling that I have, this emotion and sensitivity, movement, I will make a performance. Because I was feeling that to make a tag, it's okay on the street. But when we are speaking about art, and we are, for example, in a gallery, we have to have like something more deep than just a tag on the wall and that's all. So I was thinking performance is the best way to show this energy. And so I decided to work as if I was a choreographer, to write the movement, and so to I would like to say, to take the energy of the graffiti, I use my handwriting to make the movement. And for example, this is a partition that if I work with a dancer, maybe you can show other photos.
Yes.
And this is some sketch, and this is some studies research. For what you will see after, I create like a choreographic system, linked with the body in space, and linked with the graffiti and the dance. And actually, I am not a dancer, I am not a choreographer, but I find that there is a link with the graffiti, the energy, the movement, and the dance. And I try to make this bridge between graffiti and dance. And I use my handwriting for create a choreographic partition. And this is the research. And so I create, after the research, I create like this system. And it's a bit complex to explain each part. But the main idea is that I study the way I am making graffiti on the street, and I try to describe, to analyze the movement I was making. And so I analyze my tags. As you can see here, my name MOSA. This is also another way I am writing my name, more vertical. And I compare it to the body, so I have to study. And I put some points there that unfortunately you can see, but each point represents one point of the body. And here you have the line. And for example, the dancer follows the line from the left to the right, and you have to follow this line. So for example, the dancer, each dancer will walk differently, but they will move like this and walk a big circle. And at what moment there is like a letter, and the letter represents one point of the body. So you will have to activate one point. And you follow like this from the left to the right. And actually this is a partition. And after I create something like more playful with all of this line, and each point is a stop. So the dancer stop and can choose to go directly from this line. So actually after I create like a more complex system. And so it was a way for me to speak about more deeply about the energy of the graffiti, and to have something like more strong, more link with really what I appreciate, the movement, the energy in the graffiti. And I decided after, if because I was interested in this movement and all the system, creating your own choreographic system to speak with the other. Because first I was in the streets and I was making, I would like to say, my tag alone. But I decided to work with dancer because I wanted to make like something like a performance. And when you want to work with dancer, you have to exchange. And I didn't know how to work with someone and say, do this movement, be there. I didn't know how to do because I'm not a choreographer. So for me, it was the best way to exchange with the dancer, to create my system, explain him, and work like this. So after I decide to say, if I make a performance, I want to make like costumes too. Why not? Because like I told you, I was super influenced by the hip hop scene and all the rap music, super hip hop, and it's also in the street. You have a style because everybody have different writer, graffiti artists have a style, but you have also the way you are dressing, acting in the street. It's super linked with the fashion, and I said, okay, I have to make also a costume for this performance. So I decided to create some character, and they were. Yeah. And which one is this?
There is the costumes also.
Okay. So I decided to create character, costumes, and I decided to use the tie and dye technique with bleach and something very linked with from the 60s. And also I was super influenced by my travel in Middle East. And it was also during the terrorist attack in Paris. And all was in this moment, I created this costume, so it's super influenced by the ghost attitude, by the burqa also from Middle East. And I decided to make this performance, burki, that I call burki, this is the name of the system, and I create this performance.
Yeah, we have to turn off the lights.
Yeah.
Let's say from
Here?
Yeah. And it was like an exhibition I made in the Palais de Tokyo, it's the Contemporary Museum of Paris. and it was the first time I present this performance. Before I was maybe some in club, in small gallery, but it was the first real museum show. So we will just maybe show like 2 minutes because it's a bit long, and so you can see like a small extract of the performance.
这是第一个唯一一个最正式的这个美术馆级别的这个表演，在巴黎。
Something also important is that as I wanted to create everything, I create the costumes and also I create the music. And the music was super important. I write it with a friend of mine, and which is Hugo Duster, and he's a famous beatmaker in France, and he makes a lot of production for rapper and trap music too. And I work with him for the soundtrack. So this is a small extract of the performance. So this is not the most tonic part because it was like a 45-minute performance. So actually it's like the second part. And as you can see, I'm very, it's not just like to describe the movement as a dancer, very simply. It's also, creating a show, something more linked with total art, I would like to say. Because you have the performance, you have the design of the costumes, but you have also all of the scenography, choreography, music, lighting. So all is like, I would like to say, like a small opera. and there is three acts that I write, and it's like a very complex show, I would like to say. So after this performance, I realized that I was like very interested in this idea of total art, creating something like more linked with an experience than just, for example, an artwork to sell. And I think the experience is very important, and that's why I'm very focused on performance since 2-3 years now. So also this is like a performance, it's the same performance, bulky, and it's like this one is like in Milan. And as you can see, I really, I don't like to, I say it's like a performance, but yeah, it's still a performance, but more and more I just want to not have like a performance on the stage. I want like to have something very open, very linked with the public, and maybe you will see in the next photos, but all the people are around, some are like behind, some of the dancers are going to the public to disturb them a bit, so I like this idea, to really have a link. Interactive, and for me I consider this performance like a ritual. It's very linked with like a kind of dead dance. Sometimes at one part of the performance they are all like a ghost and they are dancing all around together, very linked, and this color, this red, is like something like very organic, and at one point they all are one, and I like this idea that all is connected, and we have the face of the dancer for sure, but they are all the same, and some are not moving. In some performance they are also like on mannequin, so there are no one inside. So I like also to interact and to disturb the public. Are they active, alive or no? And yeah, this is so after this performance I make like another one calling Nous, and it was in Tunisia. I was invited for a residency, and I really like this the residency, because mostly when I am I would like to say how I find to create maybe the costumes or the performance. For me, it's not in the studio. I feel that the studio is just a place to production place. I go to my studio, and I know I will need 10 kilos of plaster. I will need acrylic for the color, and I will do it. But the creativity, the imagination, the idea for me is coming like in the street, or maybe when I'm traveling, when I see something new. And that's why I like residency, because you always refresh yourself. You see new things, you see new colors, new people, meetings. And for me, residency is one of the most interesting way of create.
Find your creation.
Find my creativity. And for example, for this one, it was a performance. It was a performance in Tunisia, in front of the sea, with dancer, with who I was working, and he was on this camel. And after he go back, he go down from the camel and start to dance with the wind. And all was like super moving. It can be like big, small, and all the performance was like in the what we like to say, in the natural atmosphere, and it gives like more energy when you have the dancer in front of the sea with the sunset, with all of the people around. There is like a really a strong energy, because we are not like in the theater, we are not like in a closed space. And I like this idea of the performance, because it's like at what time, you have an hour, you have a place, it will be like half an hour, and after it's done. It's like super ephemeral, it's like super, and
yeah, super interactive with the nature and what's going on.
Yeah, and it's one moment, spontaneous one moment, and if you miss it, you miss it. And it's very linked also with the idea of the graffiti, as I told you, when you are making graffiti on the street, on the illegal way, super speed, quick, and after it's done. And there is the same energy in the performance. That's why I like this medium so much. And it's always linked also, as you can see, there is always the character I create, they have always a mask. And for example, this one is like the Tuareg, you know, in the deserts, in the Maghreb, like in Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria, they're hiding from the sand, you know, and they have glasses, so it's to protect. But also, you know, when you are making graffiti, and especially when you are making on the subway, you have to hide your face from the camera. So I found also a link, and all of this character is like also speaking about identity, because we don't know who is inside this costume. It can be a guy, a woman, and I like to create also like mysterious, ghostly characters. And I think it's very linked, as I told you also, with my science fiction reference that I have, and all of this creature. We don't know if it's a human. We just see like something a bit abstract. It's just like fabrics that is holding. So I like also this idea of mystery, don't know the identity, and after you have another performance with other costume. And this one was in Puerto Rico, but I create the costumes in Guangzhou in China, and you know also I was influenced by the hats that you can find on the woman who are driving the scooter, or you know this kind of hat, you have the big one like totally Asiatic and especially Chinese style. And I found that it was like something interesting to speak also about identity. So we don't see it really well, but you have this big hat like this, and you have also to protect from the sun, the back and here. And for more, it was also the same questioning about identity, but in a different place of the world. And it's also, you know, that's why I like to travel, to have different ideas, sensibility, things to see. And I'm sure that everybody here see that, you know, these people in scooter hiding like this, something super strong. You don't know who they are, and you know, no, it can be. So I was influenced also by this for this performance, and I presented in Puerto Rico. And this one is also another costume that I create for another performance, and I use it also in a movie that we will see a small extract after. And it's also with some carpet, you know, I make like, also, always you will see that I have this character with the sunglasses, and it's something that comes often in the costume I design. And it's like something super influenced by maybe something like more from Nordic, very cold, and maybe Siberian a bit. So I start to make like a new performance that I call neo-archaeologia. And it's linked also with the sculpture I made, and I said to myself, okay, let's create like a really something who can be like an opera with some characters, some actors, to write some dialogue that they can have. So I try to push more, you know, this, you know, we have the happening, we have the performance, and more I want to create something like more big, more with sound, nice, like create really a story, and it's going to the opera, I would like to say. And when I say opera, it's not like, oh, I want to create an opera like this. It's like really, I like this idea it's not theater, it's not cinema, it's like something like more, I would like to say like more linked with the public. It's something complex also, and in Europe, especially in Europe, opera is like super rich, super strong. They have a lot of great artists who use this medium as the opera, like in the 18th, 17th century, even 19th. So it's like something very strong. But I just want to make like a kind of street opera mixed with all of the work I did before. So I'm going more and more in this direction. So it's not done, it's not finished, but more and more I take this direction. And this is one of the last costume that I designed for my next performance. Just all the characters I designed, and just you can see some of them, and I want to create like something huge with all of them united, and it will be the next step. But just that now you can see different costumes that I designed. And this is one of my last performances in Palais de Tokyo in Contemporary Art Museum in Paris. And this one is like very, I would like to say, is like not different, but you have always the link with the costumes, you have the carpet, and what's happened here is also I'm not hiding the dancer, and they are not dancers, they are like fighters, because I'm practicing like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and also I wanted to show this part of the, because for me this martial art is like also dance in a way. You have a link with the body, you have something like which is like super interesting when you start to study Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's all of the body movement, and I wanted to show the beauty of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And they are actually without kimono, no gi, and they are on the oriental carpet, and behind you can see the polyphonic singer and they are coming from Georgia. And my mother comes from Georgia. I have Georgian roots, and I wanted to speak about that also. I wanted to go more deeply into my roots and to speak also about some maybe more deep and emotional feelings that I have. And so during this performance, it was actually like 25 minutes. The singers behind was like singing polyphonic liturgy, something like very traditional, and as you can listen in the Orthodox Church. And at one moment, at our time, you can see they are clapping the hands and they are singing like a fight song. And it's like something very traditional in Georgia, you know, you have songs for the wedding, for the fight, and actually during these 25 minutes, they were fighting, and it was linked also with the singers behind. To have a link with the last blue costume, the carpet one that I showed, which is actually my new project. I start to make, like I would like to say, a teaser for this new opera I want to create, and I consider this video like an introduction of my new creation I call Archaeologia. We can see it from the beginning, and it's 8 minutes production. This is the video I call Neuroarchaeologia, and this is like an introduction for my next performance opera, as I told you. And you know, we have always this same kind of dystopic, post-urban, post-apocalyptic vision. There is the story of a guy. He's in the basement. We don't know what he's doing. He have no electricity, no flashlight. He just have a torch with fire, like a prehistoric guy. And he's looking for we don't know what, but he go to the light, to the mountain, and he see no one, and he just try to escape, or he's just like in a I don't know what to say, in a derive. He don't know where to go, what he's doing. He just go forward. He walk, and he find this character, mystic, and maybe just a mirror of himself. And so this is just the opening, I would like to say, the introduction of the new performance opera I want to create. So I would like to say that now it's like the third part of the talk, and it's linked with I would like maybe my sculpture work and my plastician work, like more about exhibition. And as you can see in the first video, I have this kind of sculpture that I cast on some part of the trains near my studio. And it's very linked with this video, this idea of neo-archaeologia, which is also the name of the last video. And it speaks about this object we find in the wasteland all around us. And especially when you have this city like Pantin, which is like a gentrification, and everything is like destroyed and rebuilding, and so you have a lot of chaos. And it speaks about this dystopic vision also about our future, very linked also with the references of science fiction and for especially movie. And those one are like some cast on wheels of the car. And so basically I go in this wasteland and I find some objects and I cast with like plaster band all around those objects. And after I go back to my studio and I work on them with concrete or plaster and I paint them with the airbrush. And I like this idea of the airbrush because it's very linked with the graffiti, with the spray pen. And also the colors are like something like very, I would like something like radioactive, like if you have radioactivity you go through the object and just keep the light and stay fixed like this. And I like this idea of we don't know if it's a sculpture, object from the past, the present, the future, and I like to create a fiction all around those objects. And also why I make like, you will see I have also photo, maybe we can go next, but there is many, this part is like on the wheels, the tire of the car, but there is also other objects. So I just try, to give like, I would like to say also to these objects that I find who are on the ground, in this wasteland, in this chaos, they are like dying or dead, and just the way that I am processing to bring them to my studio, to give them the color, and just, to
bring them back to life.
Back to life in a way. And
about the character, the word.
Also, but the word is like, I liked it a lot because, in every tire, you have the name, like, it's like always like crazy name and like radial, 400, X, X, and it's very linked with like a kind of science fiction movie title, and also very linked with the graffiti. As you can see, my graffiti name is like MOSA 87 in my date of birth, and so I found the same kind of aesthetic. But also the name are very like strong, Agilis 5, some have like super speed, deluxe 2, so I like this kind of, it's like something, and I would like to show you also after a video, and it's like the next steps. As you can see, that all come from the graffiti. I go to make graffiti in the wasteland. In the wasteland, I find objects, I bring them to my studio, I put airbrush, I make them alive, and also after there is like another part is like I like to take them in photos and make 3D scan and videos also all around this object. It's just another way to explore, to experience also the reality of an object, because first you have in the hands, after it's become something new, the color, and after it's like immaterial. When you take a photo or even a 3D scan, you make something like virtual. And I like this idea of the experience of the objects in this way. So maybe you can see. So all is like 3D scan of my sculpture, and after we play and work on it. And also the music is made by me and my friend as always. And it could be like a video clip. This one is like more a video clip for me, not like a properly art piece of art. So as you can see, it's the start is the sculpture, and we go into. I like to go deep in dans la matière, in the material, and always explore. And I think it's like something super important as an artist, you know, always to explore new media. You know, if you were telling me like maybe 6 years ago, you will go 3D and performance, I would tell you, oh no, I don't know. So it's always like new adventure, and I think I like to explore different media. And I don't feel that I am an artist who can say like, or put in a box, like, you are a painter, sculpture, performance artist. I think that what I like is like, I told you already, is like to have like an open experience linked with total art, and I just want like, you know, to create a new way of expression also, and mix all the media together. And now, I will just show you some image about my, I would like to say, more classic exhibition in gallery or museum, and maybe we'll go a bit more quickly because I will not explain everything, but this one is like in Switzerland, and it was after the World Cup last summer, and I was super interesting and surprised by all of these crazy supporters with makeup, representing their own nationalities with these jersey soccer. And I wanted to speak about that. And after the World Cup, you know, they are like they are no one into this jersey, and that's why I call them ghost supporters. And I wanted to play with these crazy national jerseys, with the colors, with the logo, which is something interesting me a lot, and create like a new character, and playing with the fabrics and the colors. So I present this work in Switzerland last year. This one is an exhibition, very more, as you can compare to the other, it's more calm and more like without colors. And I was like, this one is in Milan, and the name is Coco Galba. The carnival is over, and you have a lot of sculpture, and it's all inspired by the end of Carnival, you know. It's like you are making party, and at the end you are all taking off the mask, and maybe you can show the other. And you know, you have some masks who are there, and if it's like all of the character, I was putting the mask off, you know. And it was this idea that everybody have a mask in our society. This is also about identity in my next, in my old, in my performance. Also, it's always about identity. And this one was like showing off the face and creating a sculpture exhibition with this idea of the carnival. This one is like a small. Was an exhibition in Italy also, and it was in Catanzaro, in Calabria, and was like mostly focused in the idea of the water, and this idea that you have like I don't know to say in English, like vase communicant. It's when everything is linked with the water, and it's like, you know, you have a lot of air conditioner in south of Italy, especially in this city, and you can I see a lot of this. How do you say like? Container with the air conditioner, the water will go inside, and all of this water is linked with the tube. And I wanted to speak about the water, and also in this fiction, like this is dystopic way of vision, that what is our relation to the water, and will have enough water in the future. Maybe there will be war for the water. Maybe and so I create like also this kind of you know, character with face and linked, and with this tube, something like very linked with reference as a Dragon Ball Z or science fiction movie, and all is linked all together, and our relation also with the machine, with the human machine, and and all this link with the water, and also behind you can see some fabrics work who reminds also the water, and especially Next. No, the old one.
This one?
No, the other. This one on the back, you can see the painting, and it's like when you put a rock, you know, in the water, it's like onde, like vibration. So all was in the water thematic. It was summertime also. It was like for residency. So yeah, all this idea. This one is an exhibition I call Concrete 187, and it's an exhibition in Berlin. And I was also, you know, every time I go in the city to make an exhibition, I try to reconnect with the city. So something important for me. And you can see the ground is like the same from the outside. You have a lot of metal, concrete. It's an exhibition a bit tough. And I wanted to always, in this kind of post-urban vision, create like some mass, speaking also about identity and maybe our future, I would like to say, human being in a way. You can see this is all masks who are presented all around, and I just try to give a vision about this human being, the way we will be maybe in the future with radioactivity, maybe like an explosion of nuclear explosion, and I try to present some kind of a monster. Very linked also with this idea of Frankenstein to create a new human being. Also it's linked with the genetics, because we are speaking, this is like kind of subject who are interesting me a lot. You know, we can now very easily play with our genetics and what will be the future of the human being if we play with that. And so it's like you can see there is a lot of, for example, yeah, this is like a monkey, which is go to where we come from, and also it's linked with reference with movie 2001 Space Odyssey. Always this kind of airbrush color to give them like this radioactivity effect and bring them to a possible future. And for example, this one is like maybe a good symbol of this exhibition, because we said that maybe if that there is like a nuclear explosion in the world, the rats will be the last one to survive, and so this is like maybe a good symbol of our future on Earth, maybe.
他说如果这个世界被核武器这什么消灭了之后，好像有一项调研说最后会存活下来只有老鼠。他说这个可能是对未来最好的这个画像，就一个老鼠的这个骨头在那里。
And this is the last part, and maybe also the last work I made. It's like a paperwork, and I call this series like transfer. And this is always with the sculpture. I take the photo of the sculpture, the archaeologia. I work on them on the computer, and after I use a process we're calling transfer. And there is, it's paper by paper. It's an A4 size, and I transfer these images on the paper, and I present them like linked with the sculpture. And it's also this idea always to explore new medium, from the graffiti to the wasteland to the sculpture. The sculpture will go in 3D. After they go, I work on them on Photoshop, and after I reprint them and make the transfer. So it's always like a full, I would say, experience of one thing, and we try to give different direction. And it could be like 3D video, working on performance, and here's like more something linked with the paperwork.